Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we go. Game number 3, our final one of this series here. Alliance versus Cloud9, the Summit 7 European qualifiers. One of these two teams advancing on to play Vega Squadron. The loser will play Na'Vi in what is a Group B matchup here. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Z-Rock once again. And I had the question, what kind of bans we're going to see. Well, they don't ban Air Spirit. It is first picked here by Cloud9. However, Alliance does get their hands on that first pick Magnus this time around.
Reserve time.
Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Abaddon also left open still. So, a bit surprised to see Alliance go with the bans they had. They thought the silencer was more impactful and wanted to go ahead and just get rid of that. Picking up the mag instead of the LC, as that's also left on the table. So, definitely change-ups here from Alliance.
So the second pick B, but I also like the Cloud9 going the Warlock. Now, they could have gone Abaddon, but I feel like that they would have, really been leaving open the possible then Warlock follow-up from Alliance, and that could have been really scary, on top of the Magnus especially. So instead, Alliance will grab the Juggernaut, though. So very early couple of core options here.
Yeah. Warlock is... I'm almost wondering if it hasn't been played out a little bit. We're still seeing those explosive team fights when he catches the 3 or 4-man bonds in Chaotic Offering, but we've seen a lot of games where it just feels lackluster, where he gets the rock off, can't get a good bonds, and then it doesn't do anything, or he has such a bad early game that it takes him too long to get to level 6, or he just, the enemy team picks Storm and kills him before he can get anything off.
Yeah.
And while it's still been a premium first pick here, it's starting to seem like it's showing a little bit of meta wear, I guess, where if a hero's meta long enough, teams start developing just strategies and play patterns to play against it.
I think he is a little underappreciated as a spectator, to be fair. He's one of those, he's doing stuff that we can't really notice a lot, or it's not as flashy. Like Upheaval, for example. I think Upheaval does a lot of work in fights, and is a very annoying ability to play into a lot of the time. That, again, it's a spectator, maybe it's just kind of hard to really tell that. And the Shadower, the healing up over time in fights is probably something as a player you would recognize, but as a spectator, again, maybe not as noticeable. But, I mean, at the same time, I do see what you're saying. I do agree with you. But as long as that Chaotic Offering's there, as long as the Fatal Bond synergy's there as well, he potentially has one of the highest damage outputs out of any support hero in team fights. And up there with, a Crystal Maiden comes to mind, and hell, those 2 heroes are top-tier supports. So
yeah,
maybe that has something to do with it. But
yeah, CM has been notably lacking from this whole series so far. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If Warlock hits a 4-man bonds, he essentially is doing double damage. He just doubled the entire team's damage output.
Yeah,
which is absolutely insane. But I feel like teams are getting better and better about not letting him get 3- and 4-man bonds.
Reserve time.
We'll just have to see. I mean, I know the last 3 Warlock games I've casted, Warlock's lost. So, obviously, the win rate at Kiev was slightly over 50% on Warlock, so it is still winning games.
Yeah. Crystal Maiden, we mentioned him, though, and I think Alliance, it's pretty obvious pick here almost to be Crystal Maiden, in my opinion.
10 seconds.
It pairs very well with Juggernaut. It has some jungle synergy where it can just fall back and grab some early levels. I like it a lot here.
Third pick for Cloud9, not nearly as obvious. They definitely have a lot of options here in terms of what direction they would want to go.
I imagine they'll wait till later in the draft to grab Baby Knight's mid-hero until Alliance is a little more telling in their draft about how hard he's going to be roamed on and who he's going to be going against. Picking up the LC. Yeah, so, I mean, you have 3 potentially first ban-worthy heroes on C9.
Yeah, I also feel like that's a little bit of a takeaway, but obviously they're happy to have it, but LC could have worked, well, okay, unless they ran the Magnus mid, which, again, is possible. So, just more that idea, I feel like whenever you see the Juggernaut Loda, you really buff him up is the strategy with Alliance, and you already got the Empower, but, press the attack then on top of that, and I know the Ogre match with the Bloodlust, of course, he's banned out initially, but
Reserve time.
Looking for all those buffs, if anything, and, well, kind of a hero that at least gives him some defensive presence now. Good against LC.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Alliance is going to pick. One of the big things we saw, as you said, Noya really came out huge last game. So Alliance needs to pick a roamer that can at least somewhat match him. And as to what that's going to be, it's got to be something like a Bounty, a Ricky, a Spirit Breaker. Those being the big obvious 3. I don't think Bounty is in a good spot in the meta right now. obviously we've seen Ricky pay off huge in certain games. There are teams that it's first banned against, but it doesn't really feel like an alliance hero per se.
Turn to pick.
Well, Ace, Terrorblade, seems like that goes together pretty well. It's going to be their carry of choice here. Yeah, going back to the Dazzle, though, actually, now thinking about it, too, that means that Crystal Maiden likely not going to be the option here for Alliance anymore. So missing out a little bit on that synergy potential. But, again, Dazzle's understandable.
It's still an option. It kind of forces you into a traditional tri-lane, which is really bad into an Earth Spirit. So, yeah, we'll have to see. It's up to Alliance. Like, do they think they can win trying to outroam the Earth Spirit, or do you just accept that mid lane's going to be miserable?
Yeah. I know you mentioned Spirit Breaker. He's actually definitely one that comes to mind and setting up for that roam, but is that something they want? Do they really want that single target?
Well, now you got to start thinking we need ways to stop Sunder. Right now, all you have is RP, essentially. I guess you can skewer out to get like a stop the cast interrupt, but you got to start finding whatever that answer is going to be, whether it's going to be in the form of a silence or a stun, or just like a long range mid, something like the sniper or something along those lines that just keeps you at such a distance that you can back off the TB and sniper's still doing damage. Mm-hmm. But maybe the Lina comes up here, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that out of Alliance.
A limp Lina here. I think that's something that's on their mind as far as many middle options.
His puck play last game, honestly, was fairly underwhelming. It took him a long time to get to the blink, and he never really did come online.
Yeah. It's not the flashy limp that we maybe expect to see. And obviously the first game he played in the Alchemist there now. Different story, but
yeah, totally different play styles.
Yeah. I mentioned Invoker the last game. Will that be good again here, you think?
So one of the people in chat knows Limp really well, and I kind of heard this too. When he was playing in Complexity, Chessie always played it, right? Because they used to swap who played 1 and 2, depending on the hero. And Chessie would always play the Invoker. And I remember there was one game they switched it up and Limp played it specifically, and it went really well. But apparently he's not feeling comfortable on it. He doesn't think he's quite up to competitive level with that.
Really? Okay.
And that's an Alliance special right there. I mean, this is something that Loda and EGM have a ton of experience running is Coddle Jug.
Mm-hmm. Good wave clear as well. And Coddle's, again, is definitely not as... He's kind of had his phases here, and we haven't seen a lot of him as of late. But as you pointed out, perhaps just a comfort for the team. But yeah, interesting to hear about the Limp Invoker there, though.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so you have like the God tier Invokers, right? The ones that have always played it, and they're super known for it. But to play Invoker at a competitive level is not as hard as a lot of people think. It's in reality, a lot of it is just farming well, very efficiently, and keeping your eye out for good Sunstrikes. And then the rest of it's all basic combos. You're going to Tornado into Meteor into Deafening Blast, and those are all easily learnable.
Mm-hmm. Final ban for side of Alliance. Tinker was the ban out from Cloud9, and that's definitely one that I know Lim plays, and could potentially been pretty strong here. So not having to deal with that anymore. Those lasers, the rocket spam, speaking of counter push, would have been annoying. Ember Spirit going to be the ban out from Alliance, so a couple of middle options, and the pool's getting a little bit less.
That's a mid-mag.
Yeah. It is going to be a mid-mag.
This is the all-in on Lotus strat. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have Shallow Grave to keep him alive, Coddle to give good lane pressure, and pretty much just buff Loda till you win.
10 seconds remaining.
All right, Cloud9 going the Storm here in the response.
Yeah.
Plenty of catch.
Wow. Cloud9's lineup looks incredibly well balanced. They've got good CC between the Earth Spirit and the Storm for low cooldown CC, and then Duel and Chaotic Offering for more crucial team fights. Alliance's lineup looks very pressure based, right? If the Coddle Dazzle Jug shoves a tower early, can really get some work done. But I think a lot of this game is going to be on Jonas and Fan. He's going to have to get a fairly quick level 6 and rotate really well.
And we've been seeing Clockworks do that lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. If that happens here, as far as
like a
play.
3-3 level, 3-3 level clockwork here from yesterday or 2 days ago. He was insane.
Yeah, we even saw one earlier today. I guess was it the first series? No, yeah, that was the first series.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, the Pro Dota there. Actually,
well, we saw a very nice clockwork game one as well.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And all the way back in this series.
With this coddle, they can do two things with it. They can post it up in the off lane. We've seen this a lot, where you use coddle in the trees with just illuminates to bounce the wave off the tower, where you're getting it low enough, you're putting some pressure and getting clockwork that early level 2, level 3, or you either put it with the jug and you're looking to probably just shove the wave out, farm jungle with the coddle. Like there's flexibility here. The one thing they can't do is give up any early game kills. If 2 or 3 kills go C9's way, lane matchups start getting incredibly hard. Mag Storm isn't good for Mag, but once the bottle is online, once the arcane boots are online, it's not bad. You just sit there and you spam shockwave, you farm.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Same kind of thing with the offlane. The LC isn't in a great spot there, but if he pressed the attacks off mana leak, he should never really die. He'd have to be in a bad spot to get caught. Mm-hmm. So all the lane matchups are, I'd say, slightly leaning C9 favored.
Well, we'll see how C9 does here as far as the early game. So, Loda, he's not happy.
They know this annoys Alliance. Do you remember Alliance was all chatting this yesterday too?
I will say Dota overall that's been a nice, pleasant surprise. Oh God, yeah.
I didn't know those were all chat.
I didn't know those were either. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I'm surprised it hasn't been abused more. Yeah, I didn't realize that was all chat.
Oh, I can't wait for the first South American game I cast. It's gonna be constant.
But yeah, I mean, pleasantly surprised with the lack of initial pauses in competitive Dota 2 overall. Like obviously, yes, they happen, as we see right here even, but even when they do happen, it's maybe like 5 to 10 seconds, and then we're into the action. So
Loda resumed the game, and C9 didn't say go. Yeah, that's super VM on a Loda there.
Oh, you're right. I thought I just might have missed something, but no,
yeah, that's like insanely like yell at them from the tournament admin bad mannered.
Well, now you know Loda's on tilt. So take advantage
really
of
is.
That.
This guy, I thought he went back to poker. He's supposed to have this calm, level head.
Oh God. I don't know if that works out.
You're looking a little like Phil Hellmuth here. Come on, Loda.
Well, that's again, that's something that you know, as a player, I kind of wonder if that changes your mentality as a. You know, obviously you can't be like spamming all. This isn't a pub by any means, but the idea of putting extra pressure on him, you know, at the top lane. I don't know if that's something you're going to change up with your strategy necessarily, but
I mean, honestly, if I'm C9, I'm probably pausing at the start of every game against Alliance, knowing it upsets Loda this much.
That's too.
In reality, like he made it known how annoyed he is by that, and that's something you just can't do. We're going to see action here already. Though Hanskin's in trouble. Good.
Yeah, the cogs are going to help him out, but now Jonathan Fan could be in some trouble. You see Ace running him down with that meta, but not enough.
That level 1 win lace on clock has kind of become a staple, and it puts you so far ahead of most heroes in terms of move speed. Mm-hmm. It is going to burn the shrine at 0 minutes, though.
Yeah, going to have to use it together. But Hanskin, though, on the Keeper of the Light, as we usually see, is going to end up in the long lane here initially. Be that aggressive support laner. Got that nice 355 move speed himself with that wind lace. Trying to make a play on Earth Spirit, but he's a little too quick.
More pros, I think, need to start using direct movement commands. We just got them added maybe like 8 months ago, and it wasn't a super televised feature, but it basically lets you say you want to move in X direction, and you'll run until you get blocked. Oh, there's still action. Let's see what happens here first.
I'm trying. He missed the roll, unfortunately, Jonas Fan, so couldn't really follow that up.
So what this lets you do is if there's something blocking your path past where you're clicking, you'll still move in that direction until you get to what stops you, instead of Valve trying to path you around it. And where that's really nice is like when Earth Spirit rolls, he loses his collision size for a second. And if you have direct movement on, you can actually run in between him and stop him from rolling anywhere. But if you have normal pathing on, you really can't click through him very easily.
Yeah, kind of forced to go around him instead.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Knight taking a little bit of the creep way if you're a limp, trying to take advantage of that. Kind of runs at him, but excuse me, Baby Knight keeping his distance. And going to be fine. Limp does have that poor man shield, though, to go with the Quelling Blade, and He's feeling pretty confident with his early farm here.
Yeah, rush that wand out as soon as possible, too. Really just mitigates so much of the damage out of Storm early game. And gives you a ton more mana to spam.
They're going to try to make a plan to Jonas Fan right here. Thought Earth Spirit might have been making him push him backwards, but again, he's only level 1, so obviously only has the Rolling Boulder.
And Hesta Joe finally kind of realizing he's not in any danger up here. There's so little damage that's actually going to kill him. Press the attack mitigates so much of what Spin is going to do.
You see right there, even with the heal coming out, he just kind of walks it off, and we'll go back to CSing here. So that's looking good for Hesta Joe Rotten at that top lane right now, as you mentioned. But Juggernaut is having the free farm essentially, now 14-0. Up there, Terrorblade. Keep it up, 12-7 himself. And they're roaming back towards the bottom lane, but I feel like they really need Earth Spirit level 2 before they can be a threat of getting a kill here on Jonas Fan. Try again, but he'll go right on through.
Ooh, the upheaval. Very early skill point.
Yeah. So choosing that over the Fatal Bonds here this earlier on. And yeah, I actually brought that up yesterday in a cast, too, that I was doing that. I've noticed that Warlocks have been really valuing the upheaval earlier on, and we've even seen Warlocks max it out first in some cases. So,
yeah, that kind of has to be what you decide, because 1 point in it early game is kind of rough. It's not that much of a slow, and it really slows down you getting max bonds. So yeah, we'll have to see what he does with it, because max upheaval is insane. Level 1 upheaval is pretty underwhelming.
We got Ace Metamorphosis going to be wearing off right there. Back to last hitting the creeps, though. At least focusing on that. But middle lane, Magnus, he's winning this matchup as far as CS is concerned right now. 17-7. You got a 14-2 Storm Spirit, so it's well played by Limp so far.
Yeah, the X Factor is entirely on the way. If he comes once, it can just totally destroy Limp, and that gives Baby Knight the lead he needs.
Yeah.
The CS difference is because Baby Knight went to go grab the DD.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, he has that now and looking to put in some pressure onto the Magnus. Meanwhile, over here, again, the bottom lane continues to be plenty of potential action. Coddle, illuminate on through. There's a barrel roll. This one will connect on Jonas Fan, but he has Cogs, worst case, and going to use them right there to block them out. And he cuts on through. So trying to do a little bit of jungling in the process, but they're not going to give it up easy.
Oh, that regen.
Meanwhile, top lane, Hesta Joe Rotten. He may be dying right here. He may want to get himself killed by neutrals at this point. Curious what he decides to go for.
Yeah, making the play for the Ancients.
Going
for block.
like, no, go. That's it. Oh, EGM.
Nice job, EGM there. A little bit of a block, grabbing the aggro off the Ancients.
Yeah.
I mean, stealing a kill, sure. But
yeah,
other than that, pretty good.
Kill secured, I like to say. Yeah, that's a first blood for Alliance. So, yeah, they were competing for that bounty rune. I don't know if that was the ultimate point of getting that low, but Battery Assault catches Warlock by himself.
Get out of tower range.
Earth Spirit decides to join. He only took one hit for the tower look like right there, but now he wants this kill on Rise, damn it. Was it a couple more? Okay.
Yeah, he took like 4. That was rough. If he just moved to the top of his cogs, he doesn't take the tower hits. Probably still dies, but I think he gets Warlock.
Yeah, instead he doesn't, and he ends up falling in the end. So much for the aggressive play that Jonas Fan has been doing, and ends up biting him in the ass that time around. Although he is back now with full life, ready to go.
That's really painful. Like, that's got to be all metally and ugh.
Yeah,
it's a dental visit waiting to happen.
Something you want to be doing too often, yeah. Well, don't die.
True.
Biting yourself.
Words of wisdom there from Breaky, guys.
Go.
Don't die.
You play Dota. So you win Dota games. Don't die.
Oh man. After this cast, I got to dig through replays and find you games where the carry never died and the team still lost, because I know they exist.
Oh, they definitely do. There's one that comes to mind. There was, I want to say it was BSJ, actually, for Team Freedom when he was playing for them. He went like 0-0, and I think he went 0-0-0, actually, and they lost.
Yeah. I've seen some Chinese games, too, where the guy's like 12-0-6 or something and just never dies as he watches his throne fall.
Yeah.
Like, is this how this game's supposed to be played? All right, so Limp, though, did take the safety point in Skewer and the point in RP at 6, so opting to sacrifice a little bit of farm efficiency to have the utility to go in and actually use RP effectively. So we'll have to see if we can make use of this here. Is going to find her in bottom. Could potentially take it bottom, try to kill off Ace before the Sunder comes online, but going back to mid to farm.
Yeah, nope. Instead, he wants that guaranteed farm, so as you pointed out, we'll head back there. So Ace has a little bit more breathing room now as a result of that.
Look at Dazzle's stash. Okay, it's on the courier now. Most everything on that courier is Dazzle's.
Oh, wow. That's a medallion early on.
He had nothing but a TP scroll in his inventory, and I'm like, he got first blood. What happened?
Yeah.
And then check the courier, and it's basically an entire medallion ward. Even as a raindrop, like, that's living the good life as a support.
Well, as long as he gets those items, it's still taking a while before he gets them, but yeah, he's gonna like having those. Another medallion.
Nice stack. Yeah, he dumped his wards off on Limp, so Limp could put one of them on the high ground middle, and give himself a little more coverage. Yeah, finds the D ward too. Very nice.
Well played there. Right now, Storm Spirit's actually.
Look at where Hanskin is. Look at where Hanskin is.
Where's Hanskin?
Bottom.
There he is. He's in trouble. Coddle's caught. He's dead. Yeah, they found him.
TB wrapped. Yeah, TB wrapped before the creep wave came and was sitting behind him in the trees. So as soon as they found him, nowhere for Hanskin to go. SJO needs to be a little bit careful here. Loda does have 6, so the risk of getting Omni Slash spun down is still there. Although you're a very tanky offlaner. Poor man's 900 HP.
Yeah, Jonas a fan, trying to be tanky enough over here, but he's taking some good damage. Meta is ready for Terrorblade, but cannot really keep close enough. So he'll be fine for the time being. But Storm Spirit, yeah, he was jungling a little bit. He buys his power treads, though, and now he's going to try to get this haste in. Rise will kind of block him out a little bit. Now he puts the cogs up, and now with Storm Spirit being here, Port's coming into the shrine. He activates the shrine in the background, but not close enough. And down goes Clockwork, so good catch right there from the Storm Spirit. Top lane, he's going to run him down. He has a mango for the Omni Slash here. Yeah, he's going to pop the mango.
That's not quite enough. They need another auto or two.
Let's see attack. It's almost good that he didn't get the Omni Slash off, and now actually we're going to see a turn. He puts a duel on a Dazzle. At least secure that, get a winner. And Loda, don't tell me he's dying to the tower.
Okay.
Oh, man. He might die to Storm Spirit.
Storm, though. Storm is committing.
No! Storm left! No mana! Oh. Thought he went in the trees. Well, at least Juggernaut gets away.
That kind of sucks for Baby Knight. Because he committed his entire mana pool to that.
Yeah.
That means it makes it a lot harder for him to jungle here. He's going to slowly do one camp. And Limp is getting free farm time. And these Ancients are starting to stack up.
That's true. He has got them going. So we'll see if, I assume, Limp or, I guess Juggernaut maybe even as a team.
Yeah, it'll depend on who they want to give it to. So Limp kind of has 3 options here. Blink is the most obvious one, Shadowblade the less so, and then Echo Saber if he wants to be greedy. If the stack gets big enough and he's taking it, I think Echo first is more likely. Oh no, Hanskin, not again.
Yeah, they scanned him up here, I saw that, and now he's going to realize, ah crap. He's dead again, and just might as well eliminate. Get it off before.
Now, to be fair, his death there saved the tower. Getting the full Illuminate off on that creep wave did take the pressure off.
Warlock.
And for 160 gold, maybe okay.
Omni Slash to kill the Warlock, but now Loda's in a horrible position. Probably going to die in return. Jonas Bank gets picked off, and down goes Loda. A 2-for-1.
Loda might have been out, but there was a Storm Remnant sitting there from when Storm poured it in.
That's how he got the double. Top lane. RP's used to catch Terrorblade. They would love this turn kill, but they're not going to get it. Noya was there to help save him, and as he mentioned, Sunder just in case.
Alliance doesn't have the damage right now. This entire lineup is built around scaling on the Jug, and we're 10 minutes into this game, and your Jug is not doing great. He's doing okay, but definitely not exploding out in any way, shape, or form, and really a struggle here in the early game for Alliance.
Yeah. Top lane. Juggernaut is going to join up with the Magnus. That power buff is up, level 4. Boulder Smash there to slow it down, but well, if they're going to truly defend the space, with his tower even. EGM also here has that weave to throw out if necessary, but yeah, they're not going to defend it. They're going to finally give that one up. So it's going to be a successful
I mean, that's
siege.
good. They're not going to lose anything for it either. No real tower pressure being threatened. Clock hooks in on bot lane, for better or worse.
Is that going to be a kill, though? Yeah, probably not. In fact, that's just like, yeah, let's duel. You want to fight? Come at me, bro. That's a kill. He didn't get the winner, but As you mentioned, that was I almost feel like he expected a TP or something, because
maybe. Well, and the clock kind of went an odd build. 2-1-2 is generally what you do when you're really struggling and you need to push the wave out with your rocket flare. But not having the extra point in battery assault loses you a ton of damage off the hookshot combo.
So this almost feels a little bit like that sloppiness that you're kind of talking about with Game 2, even how it started to transition there. Alliance, I don't know if it's a tilt thing or what, but they just start to seem a little bit off, you know, from the top lane, how much they dove up there to not even get the kill, to how it's bottom lane with Jonas Fan trying to make the play and ends up getting turn killed. So a lot of these situations where we're having these turn kills happening, almost some head-scratching moments here from Alliance. So we know they have the potential to, you know, be very good as a team, and we've seen the moments of that, hell, even in the series. But then it goes to, you know, making some sloppy plays. So they're going to have to definitely fine-tune it further on in this game, and that's going to help taking out the, I believe it was a triple stack agents there. On some cores at least.
Yeah, they had this very bad predilection of, we got picked by, like, they lose one hero early on, and then they decide it's time to take the team fight. We can do this. And they get a pretty good initiation off, but they're missing a hero, and then they fall flat and die.
Yeah. Or
they TP in 2s and 3s and just kind of chain feed.
Now they're going to have a blink on Limp here very soon. In fact, yeah, he just bought it, so that's going to be delivered. And RP, level 1. It's going to be level 2, though, in a second. Had a couple of creep kills, so we'll be able to try to find some value from that here. We saw earlier he tried to use it for a solo kill, came up short. But would hope for that big combo here. And they have potential, again, to line things up. You know, Illuminate on top of a big RP and Juggernaut doing plenty of damage in between. They're going to try for a chance right here. They smoked on up Hanskin. He's caught though initially. Blinding light pushback. Pretty good start right there. Weave comes out. There's the RP. No, not going to be used just yet. He's screwing the backwards. The RP catches Terrorblade, but the press the attack immediately after. He still even has Sunder and sitting in that meta form like the boss that he is. Loda will end up falling. LC at least goes down, but this is now going to be a lost tower and ultimately a victory for Cloud9 when it comes to the overall fight here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Beautiful blinding light there, but again, Noya winning the game for his team. Limp would have hit a 2. Oh, still going.
Well, I was going to say, this is them kind of hanging around maybe a little bit too long, although Baby Knight, he is actually now in somewhat trouble himself, but now Jonas Fan going to get picked up back here, and they will kill Baby Knight, so they do get a little bit of a treasure out of it.
Yeah, you're content with that. Stopper. You were going to lose that tower. Killing Storm, very, very huge. Oh, man. That was chaos. Yeah, again, Alliance just lacking the damage. It's really hard for them to find enough to actually bring the target down. Omnislash did almost nothing in that fight, but Noya's silence on the RP. It would have been a 2 or 3 man RP, the skewer right into a solid empowered Omnislash, and Noya just snap silenced Limp as he blinked in.
Nice. I was wondering what took so long to get it off there. So, to be fair, if you're going to get a solo target, you know, ideally Terrorblade is the best one, but he just kind of stood there in that meta form, and it didn't really take any damage, as you mentioned, the Omnislash not doing a whole lot. I mean, you look at Juggernaut, he actually didn't even have his Yasha going into that fight. So there is then the question, should have Alliance been looking to even go for the fight in the first place? In hindsight, obviously probably not. But
well, I think what they're thinking is, if we just give that up uncontested with everything up, when can we fight? Loda's so far behind. Yeah, you're farming now that Max and Power is up and Loda's trying to farm as well. But when does the game get okay for you? Chaotic Offering isn't going to change. The LC Storm Terrorblade is obviously going to outscale you. They need to be able to take fights like this and at least get something out of them.
The positive on the other side for Cloud9. Got Terrorblade again. That Dragonlance finish as mentioned. The Manta style for him. Coming along fairly nicely. Legion Commander, no blink just yet, but another creep killer, so he will have it, actually. Although, we could be seeing some action up here. They're going to try to skewer on him backwards. They do so. Press the attack. They're going to commit the RP to this Omnislash on top of that, and it will be a dead LC before he could get the blink. So that's actually a clutch kill indeed for Alliance. Slowing down a key item there.
Hey, it was like 12 gold off.
Yep. Basically one creep kill away, like I said. So that's not that much longer.
What have we here?
Wait for that.
Just look at the difference in carry net worth. It's basically an entire Dragon Lance ahead on the TV right now. And I've talked for a while about how Jug, if the Omnislash doesn't feel... Ooh. Can I get him?
Trying to catch. Obviously, Storm Spirit a little more difficult.
Okay. But yeah, no, if Jug isn't killing things with Omni Slash, then the only other option with the Juggernaut is to like fall back and rice till he's 6 items. But how do you do that against a Storm Spirit Terrorblade LC? Like, that's a huge tricore.
Yeah, that's true. It is tough to fight into that or against that even, and just try to just freely farm around it. But Storm Spirit, speaking of him too, he is going, of course, that Bloodstone, and he almost has it actually. He chose to get the full power tread so he can't break up those arcane boots, but he will have it here very shortly as well. And that's going to be some key items, especially the blink on LC too.
I think the next tempo point here for Alliance, obviously when they see a good fight, they're going to take it, but the next spike they're going to have is when Loda finishes up this Manta and probably the Diffusal would be my guess is what's coming next. Once he gets to those, Empower is adding a ton of damage. That's kind of his next big spike in what he can do.
He did choose to get the 175 health talent, by the way, on Juggernaut, so again, has that Empower, if anything, to amp his damage quite a bit already, so not overall as concerned about getting said damage talent because of that, perhaps. But on the other side, Terrorblade, the same thing. He, too, goes more of the survivability, getting that 6 health regen.
Yeah, it's just so good. I mean, 6 health regen means you don't have to commit an item to lifesteal or regen, like the Perseverance or something, early on. So it really smooths out his early game.
Bloodstone finished right there. Again, the blink has been picked up by LC as well. Hester Joe Ronnie's waiting to use that new toy of his.
RP's back up. It's going to be a huge deciding fight.
That's
here.
a target. Ace. So they want to go for this. There's the RP coming out. Press the attack, though. In response, Chaotic offering as well. And now Ace using the Thunder on a Dazzle, actually. And the duel on top of him. The evasion's coming out, but it's not going to be enough to survive. He will go down the pull-in onto Limp. Meanwhile, Loda in the backlines has that healing ward up, trying to save himself as well as his teammate, but it's not going to be enough for Limp. And Loda has to just simply run away. So again, trying to take a fight into them and Illuminate. That does connect. It catches the butt of Earth Spirit, but enough to take him out. So fun finish there at least.
Sleeper broken person in this game. Hanskin's almost at his Ags.
All right, that's a good item to have definitely for Lance.
He's at more net worth than Clockwork right now.
That's the second time though we see the press the attack in response to a solo RP Terrorblade.
Yeah,
and it basically makes the RP useless at that point.
Yeah, Loda ported into that fight after farming bottom and didn't even have enough mana. He spun and dropped a healing ward, and then he couldn't Omni Slash that entire team fight. If Omni's up on the back of that RP, maybe that's different. You might kill TB, because when the RP came out, Mana Leak was on Terrorblade. It moved him enough that he couldn't Sunder. So the Omni Slash there may have been enough to drop the TB.
Yeah. But
just a little bit of an unfortunate plays there. C9 ending up coming up huge, though. What, a 3-for-1 in the tower? This is what you want out of your Warlock. You're taking objectives, you're forcing fights around important things, and coming out on top every time because the rock is so good.
Yeah, another benefit too, we just mentioned the Bloodstone purchase going into that fight, so Baby Knight has a couple more charges to go with it, already up to 14, and 2,200 gold saved up on top of all that, so he's going to continue to scale bigger and better.
The straight Shivas is interesting at him. Okay, he switched over to an Orchid. His quick buy had a Shivas on it. I actually didn't mind it. Almost all the damage coming out of this team's in Juggernaut. Other than, Hanskin's massive Illuminates.
Yeah, that's
going for the Orchid.
The executability.
Exactly. But no, I like Orchid too here. It makes it so you can just silence a Dazzle in a team fight, so when your LC duels, there's not a Grave to come off the back of it.
Terrorblade, that Manta style finish though, and that's such a key item on him, and now you got the Eye of Scotty queued up, so Manta style is one thing where you start to get a little worried if you weren't already, and then Eye of Scotty's just like okay, now it's going to be really difficult to take care of this Terrorblade. It already was before, but
you know that it's a good TB game when you don't feel like you need a blink second or third item on TB. You're just like, I got Lance, I got Manta, and I'm going Scotty, and then it's a Hurricane Pipe. If you never feel the need to buy the BKB, you're having a pretty good game.
Yeah, and again, it's the pressing attack. You see Hester Duran's positioning. He's not even looking to initiate necessarily on heroes. He's more so, it's almost like he's just simply sitting back waiting for an RP commitment from the Magnus. That's his role here, to counter on top of that. Meanwhile, middle lane, Hanskin, he does have that axe. Now he's going to be jumped on. He's going to be dead at the beginning of a possible fight here. So, more victories for LC. And that's easy tier 2.
Yeah, C9 firmly in the driver's seat here. And it's going to take something big out of Alliance to turn this. Mag on limp here, looking to go a Orchid instead of an Echo Saber, which definitely a little different, but I like it here. They need some extra lockdown for Storm Spirit, and that'll provide a way to do that.
Also could really use level 20 on him ASAP. Again, I know they nerfed it, but still 10% in power damage. Really would like that for Loda. I'm sure Loda would especially. That's going to be a little ways off. He's just about level 15 at least.
Yeah, it's still a distant pipe dream to get to 20.
Yeah. That's going to be a ways. You see more talent points being picked up. In fact, 90 gold per minute now on Magnus. Dazzle also gets his level 10 finally.
That 90 gold shows the dire straits of this game. He's so far behind. He's taking a fairly minor gold talent versus 12 strength on a strength hero that actually does right-click here and there. So just showing where they're at in this game. Limp doesn't think he's going to get a lot more time to farm and have some room. Really wants to actually finish this Orchid before another big engagement happens. Needs about another 900 gold. And in return right now, C9 should be playing the Vision game. They've already got great wards up in the... Oh, wow. These are actually all Alliance's wards. They got the full D ward off? Holy cow. What did you do, Hanskin? But yeah, no, I mean, total vision control here for Alliance. The C9 side needs to be playing the ward game. You go run, sweep out the jungle, get wards up around Roche, and really look to try to take that at some point here soon. If you keep the Warlock out of the pit, the engage potential for Alliance is not good. You blink in, you RP, and all of a sudden you get rock into 4-man bonds.
Yeah, counterplay is definitely real for Cloud9, and we've already seen that several times between the press the attack and that rock is mentioned, so we're cut out for Alliance.
And if they watched Kiev Major, they know how not to do it with SG Esports stacking the Warlock in the pit. Don't do that.
Hopefully they were watching that. Was that against EG?
Yeah. That was the game they should have had. That was game 3. Like, they're way up, and they put 5 in the Roche pit, including the Sand King and the Warlock, and they just got, like, destroyed by a 4 or 5 man Puck Silence and Coil.
Whoops. Terribly.
That's literally all they could say at that point. It was whoops.
Shouldn't have done that. That was an illusion bait right there.
Big smoke out of C9.
They're kind
of literally everyone except Hester Joe.
Yeah. They were really hoping somebody would at least try to kill the illusion or something, but Alliance, good heads up there. Don't give them the opportunity, so continue to walk around with Cloud9. Again, they don't have Tier 3 towers dead yet. And in fact, the bottom Tier 2 is still up, so I was going to say it probably should focus on that, and sure enough, that's what they're going for. Going to look to take it out. Roshan is up, but at least going to get the Tier 2 first, and then we'll see any movement from there. In fact, Alliance, will they try to take Roshan while they're pushing? No, they're going to wrap around, actually.
Their Roche take is fairly slow. I mean, yeah, you have a medallion and a jug, so that helps, but you're giving up a Tier 2, and it's going to give the C9 squad position on the Tier 3.
That's a Omni Slash. Hey, got the Earth Spirit. Yeah, it's a start there. Now, I almost feel like they probably shouldn't keep going, though. Unless they really
just play it safe from here. Just use Illuminate to push waves out.
Yeah.
If C9 wants to keep fighting it, chip them down a little.
Yeah, they're gonna.
That's big.
Shot in.
If they can kill Rise, they got him.
They got him before the golem, so big start indeed. Estor Ronnie wants to get the duel off on Alona. He's gonna get the duel off the RP though in return, and the cleave damage as well. This is exactly what Alliance needed. Storm Spirit, the Soul Survivor, and Baby Knight zip-zapping out of here. He should be fine himself, but that's exactly what Alliance needed. We see that once the RP connects and the cleave comes out, exactly what can't happen.
Baby Knight's not TPing. Lotus faster. Oh, the regen. That's so sad.
This is awkward. You can't use it, though. Can you maybe get it off now? He's still in spin. He's silenced now. He's dead. He just denies himself, actually. And Airspirit gets picked off. And look at this. A nice present. Let's go for Roshan.
That's 6 kills in a Roshan. I mean, that... Wow. C9 way overstayed there. They lost Noya, who's been basically their MVP of this series. And Warlock gets caught by the beautiful rocket flare from Jonathan. But there we go.
Oh, they want to fight this. EGM, meanwhile, he puts a shallow grave on himself, but Blade Mill is up here from SJ Ron. Here comes Baby Knight back into the fight. Going to pull in on the one right there on a limp, but it's not enough initially. Dazzle is picked off, though. There we go. He doesn't get the cone on limp, but it comes at a cost for Baby Knight. He is going to fall. The 5-kill streak for him is going to be ended. And Loda still has that Aegis, so not the
Oh,
prettiest
man.
fight for Cloud9, especially if Ace ends up dying. He has a Sunder now. Can he make a play with it right here? So you
doesn't
gotta be
have mana.
careful. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't have mana. Actually, he does have the wand charges. It's not gonna matter.
Wow. Alliance with the comeback.
Under attack.
This is beautiful from them. I mean, they are deserving, and the fact that they played that bottom fight so well. And they were very safe with it. You know, they found the initial pick in Earth Spirit, but then they didn't just overcommit after that. They kind of fell back, waited for another prime target. But yeah, you could argue Cloud9 stuck around too long, but I think it's more so Alliance just playing that so smart-like.
Yeah, it was both, but absolutely well played from Alliance to not just throw bodies in after they got the pick on Noya. And we saw what almost could happen, right? Rise hit such a huge bomb with that rock. And, I mean, Baby Knight cleaned up like 3 out of the back of that. But after he died again, his Bloodstone's down to 8 charges. And they're looking to go again on him.
It's going to be down even more. It's down to 5 charges.
That Orchid from Magnus here on Limp paying off huge.
Key item for sure.
Radiant's top tower
That was
is
definitely the
under
go-to,
attack.
and now you got a Juggernaut that is...
You need
Farms.
creeps, Alliance.
He is really farmed. He's got Aya Scotty queued up right here. Again, that with the Empower buff. And Limp, by the way, is getting closer to that level 20 now also. Imagine how big that's going to be. So Terrorblade, he still hasn't finished his own Eye of Scotty. We're talking about how that was just going to be such a deadly item for him to have. Now their base is being pushed in.
This is that exact power spike I was talking about. The Manta and the Diffusal got done on Loda, and that's instantly when they took the fight bottom,
Radiant's
and
top
really
tower
showing
is
how
under
much
attack.
damage that can do when coupled with Empower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They're not afraid here because Aegis is still up. They got the RP ready to go on the back lines.
And Rock's
One
down.
big, and Rock is down, exactly. So Loda just spins on top.
Tower has fallen.
Gets tier 3 and probably going to fall back and do Shrines now.
Look at the net worth graph. This has to be like a 15k swing in the last few minutes.
It was
And
pretty radical.
Almost 11k in 5 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah, 10 to 11k there. Maybe even a little bit
It's
more
just
with the
nuts.
updates. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty big swing, and it all comes down to the bottom 5. But as you suggested, the pickup of the Diffusal play and ready to fight, and that mixed with finding a couple of key targets.
Stupendous.
Gets
Now
the
the Scotty choice here on Jug is interesting. The main reason to go Scotty is its base stats. Base stats are buffed by Empower, so very nice pickup there from him. But the alternative is you're gonna run out of ways to lock the Storm down once the BKB comes online. Is eventually gonna need an Abyssal Blade. So you're kind of which one do you want to go first? Scotty presses the advantage a little bit more, and if you can keep the Storm off of BKB, it's very good. Which that looks like their game plan. He committed to the full Scotty, not even saving buyback.
They try to catch the Storm Spirit down here, but he makes his way out before. So, but yeah, as you mentioned, the Eye of Scotty purchased by Juggernaut, and you know why save for buyback when you got all this momentum here, and figure you're going to be pushing anyways. Is what they are thinking, I'm sure. So yeah, Cloud9, they're going to have to evade if anything, and try to wait for yet another Roshan. I think is kind of the key right here. Try to prevent them from truly pushing into your base. And the third Roshan is definitely going to be telling of where this game's at.
Dire's
Yeah.
middle tower
I mean, the
is
big
under
thing for
attack.
Cloud9 is they need their fights to be set up. They need them to be clean. So whether that's being aggressive, pushing into a building with 3 or 4 Terrorblade images, or being in your own base and setting up this nice image into rock defense in your base. But TB needs time. He can't just fight on a dime. He wants to have 3 illusions when he metas. Basically his Manta +1 at least. And really needs to have that all ready to go. So they can't take these skirmishes in the jungle. They can't get initiated on. They need to decide what they want to do and execute a very clear game plan.
Terrorblade really wants to finish that Eye of Scotty before another fight breaks out here. But again, only level 16. You compare that to the other side of the cores, 21 especially on Juggernaut. Still almost 19 on Limp there. But Storm Spirit, he's definitely been the one going up quickly, almost 23 actually. But again, his item's not necessarily the flashiest anymore because of the 5 charges on the Bloodstone. Really went down.
This
quite
is
a bit.
always the risk. And this is why some people quit going Bloodstone on Storm. They'd go loaded like Lincolns into Orchid or Orchid into Lincolns instead. And then the deaths feel way less impactful. Yeah, you lose a little bit of mana regen, but you just fight better. And it doesn't hurt as bad when this happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it almost makes that net. The fact that he's second in net worth, it's kind of not really because of 5 Bloodstone charges really. So yeah, it hurts. And Juggernaut, he's even got now the butterfly queued up here. Or another 2,300 gold saved up. In fact, he buys the Talisman of the Evasion, the secret shop, and he'll kill the final shrine now. Up at top right there. So Cloud9, the map is going to be pretty dark, kinda. They did a good job of getting some aggressive wards up here.
Let's take a second and just look at the team's net worth here on C9's side. It's so top heavy. It is all on Storm and TV. Johannesson, or the LC here by Hestajo is actually behind the Coddle at this point. It really just has been given no resources in this game, and playing it a lot more like a support, as you said, sitting in back and waiting for a blink press the attack versus a blink duel. And it's not quite what I would expect to see out of an LC or what I want to see out of an LC.
Yeah. For the earlier parts, it was working on, but now with where the game's at, you would have liked him to be more of the aggressive now. For sure.
Yeah, it's still useful. It's just they've got to execute better.
Top lane, Loda, he's in. Healing ward's put down. He'll drop the range tracks quickly. Now turn with the melee. Storm Spirit gonna fly on in, but Loda doesn't even flinch. He's like, yeah, okay, be flashy, do your thing. There's the duel coming out. The RP in response, but they got pushed back with the blinding light. Not the synergy they were looking for. Chaotic offering, the upheaval on the midst of it. The Omni-Slash bouncing around. LC and Warlock are picked up back here. We do see Storm Spirit a little far pushed up. LC will buy back now. AC is still alive, still has a Sunder ready to go. Nobody dead yet on the side of Alliance, though. Shadowgrave, I believe, saving somebody right there, maybe even himself. But now Baby Knight going back in. It says Shadowgrave this. It's not going to happen. And down goes the Tassel. Press the attack on Baby Knight, allowing him to get away. And out of a bad spot right there.
8 HP. Okay.
It does go down. Only losing.
I was going to lose it. That catapult missed 3 times before it connected. I was just like staring at that, ignoring the team fight entirely.
Yeah. That was a buyback LC.
Alright, I thought that was going to go disastrously when the blinding light pushed the TV out of RP.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
Oof, that's a sigh of relief for Hanskin there.
Yeah.
Went so well.
Man. And I mean, those two have been friends for so long. I'm sure they're talking crap to each other right now.
Oh, yeah. They go back.
You have to, right?
Them and Jonas fan go back to the old school Han there.
Oh, yeah.
Teammates there.
But no, it shows how strong Jug is now that he's getting close to 6 items here. This is when I think Jug is best. I think he's one of the best 6-slotted carries in the game. And we got to see a really creative thing that's been talked about a little bit by casters. He Omni-Slash Noya, used the blink to get to Hestajo Rotten mid Omni-Slash and keep it going.
Yeah.
Which is just an excellent mechanical play. Very hard to do in the moment, but pulling it off quite nicely. And this is the risk you run. When you have 2 net worth this high and the rest of your teammates on welfare, if Loda gets to this backline, he can just delete everyone in a matter of seconds. And then you're left with just Storm and TV, which, when there's only 2 heroes instead of 5, you can start controlling them so much better.
And he's going to have a butterfly by the time another fight breaks out. I mean, he bought the Eye of Scotty, not worrying about a buyback, so I assume he's going to do the same here with that butterfly.
Yeah. Especially with the vision they're keeping up on Roche. He's sending Manta illusions and normal illusions into it.
He is up in just over a minute here, seeing Roshan. So they'll kill the tier 2 mid and possibly reset. Yeah, it seems like, again, Alliance, this is a big deal. It's game 3 here. Although they would still be in it, again, dropping out of the losers bracket. Would rather not. And they're going to wait for Roshan now. So Cloud9, this is going to be that big fight that we were talking about. Potentially, at least. And somewhat deciding in where this game may end up here.
I'm going to be honest, like, C9's play has looked better. They've made a couple big decision-making errors that snowballed massively against them in this game. But Alliance is looking insanely sloppy overall still. This is not a very promising series out of them, unfortunately.
I'll take the W.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You will in a heartbeat. I just want to see them just tighten up a little bit. They're individually, they're all very high-skilled players.
And I think that comes from a place of just you almost the idea that you expect better of them because of that individual skill level and because of how long they've been together. And I know these 5 haven't necessarily been together forever, but it's such a prestigious organization in the Dota 2 scene especially. And You know, you almost want to see that success, but they're going to try to go for a jump right here again. We saw what happened last time they got Earth Spirit killed off the bat.
My blade has tasted
And he
exploded.
Oh, that was lag, yeah.
Yeah, we all lagged there.
Felt that too. Don't know. I assume that didn't happen before. It was right after the kill, but it's a nice
I'm
find
trying to
there.
think of what could have caused it. It happened right when Loda manted.
Yeah, maybe some illusion lag there happens there. But that's a dead Earth Spear for 40+ seconds now in an upcoming fight.
Yep.
And
Now you just pressure out. Basically, you look for a jump on Warlock. You basically spend your time on Clockwork, rocketing, making sure you have vision. And if you find him, commit hard. Once the rock is gone, you just win.
yeah, I really wonder if Cloud9 is going to try to contest. Oh, so if you're Alliance here, do you think that they just turn around and go for Roshan, or are they going to now push out and try to pressure the base here more? Okay.
Roche is safer. You got the Rax top already. That's pushing in here slowly. Hesta Joe is trying to push it out. But yeah, Roche seems like a nice, safe play. The question is, what do you do with the Aegis? Loda really doesn't want to backpack any of those items. They're all very critical to him. Meg's doing enough damage. Maybe you throw it over that way now.
Well, see some players resuming here, getting back into the game. Still need the Dazzle. EGM before going to be good to go. There we go. Reconnects and gonna pretty fun game number 3 to finish things off here. On this series, at least. Again, we do have one more series after this, guys. We got Empire versus NIP coming up next, and that's what I especially am looking forward to. Yeah.
Like, honestly, this series was just giant question marks for me. But in reality, I figured it'd come down to whoever threw harder. The next series is still just, like, totally unproven lineups.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked to see what they can do.
Swing
and a miss on the hook shot.
Yeah, Storm Spirit able to evade death right there. That was close, but NIP is somewhat newer roster, and then Empire, they're coming off some recent success, of course, at DAC qualifying for that even. Looking pretty good, so yeah, that's going to be a fun matchup there, but we got this one to finish, and it's going to be a fun one at that. Is he going?
Is he gonna go?
Yeah, he needs to do it now. No, not going to happen.
Has fallen to the dire.
He just picked up by Loda, and now you reset if you're Cloud9. Yeah, it's like, all right, damage is done. Let's fall back here. No buyback on Baby Knight, by the way. He just bought a Shivas.
I will say Storm is probably one of the heroes that got nerfed hardest by the Roche pit changes. When Roche was in the other spot, he could always remnant on the high ground, and it would give vision for a long time on Roche. And so then he could time the steals better and do stuff like that. There's no high ground around this Roche. It's just like a wall, a cliff.
Yep, it's difficult to sit on the outside from and be ready to sneak in, and I think that's for the better. You know, the idea of just sitting on the cliff right there and then sniping in is kind of...
I don't know. There's been some super cool plays because of it.
Of course, yeah.
When Ember's ult used to give vision, there's a clip of EE basically sliding, getting the Roche kill with Slight, and grabbing the Aegis, all without ever actually going into the pit.
Yeah. Magnus, he has an AC now, and nice enhancement for the team as a whole. We mentioned, again, he's well beyond 20 now, and that's the buffed in power here.
They're really feeling like they just don't need more CC for this Storm. They say we shut you down hard enough, your blood still lost a lot of charges. I wouldn't have been surprised to see an Abyssal on both the Jug and the Mag. Instead, just opting for neither.
Well, it's these last 20 minutes or so, more so like 10 to 15 minutes. It's obviously worked out for Alliance pretty well. Although they're trying to chase down the Storm Spirit this time around again, but unable to find them. You see scans on either side, and actually Storm Spirit's the one that scanned them, and decides it's a good time to get the hell on out of there. So, good decision on his part. But now Alliance, again, when do they make their move? They have the Aegis on Juggernaut.
Yeah, you just see
like now.
Yep.
Push out here. 4,000 gold on Loda, by the way, so he's pulling up quite a bit again. Wants to at least buy back here. He pretty much has a full inventory. He has a blink currently in his backpack because of the Aegis there. God, backpacks are so nice, man. What was life like before backpacks? It wasn't even that long ago.
Well, you either didn't get to 6 items, or if you were Chinese, you bought your own courier and hid it in the trees and used a team fight.
Duel, there we go. They're trying to get Loda killed right off the bat. It's taking quite a bit, though. He's spinning on top of the chaotic offering. Hester Duran's going to end up falling with the kill. Loda's going to be big. Get the Aegis at least. No, the shallow grave. Gonna save the day, so they'll still need to burn through the Aegis, but now Limp, he's trying to run away throughout this. Omnislash took it out. He actually used the RP. Yeah, he missed right there, though. But there goes that Omnislash's message. The Blinding Light pushback, and Alota going right back in. No buybacks on the 3 heroes that are dead, including Storm Spirit. And Alliance is still full go. So again, they're fairly low on several heroes, but just like the previous fight, everyone stays alive. EGM and Hanskin doing a great job of keeping everyone alive, I'm sure. And they're going right back in. Okay, he did get enough for the buyback now, so there goes a little bit of lag as he jumps in with the Shivas right there. But the return, Baby Nine has to zip-zap around out of there. And now Loda, again, a little too beefy, also the evasion.
This game is getting insanely laggy. And these aren't any of the super known, like, make-the-game-like heroes, so I'm a little confused as to what's going on.
Well, Juggernaut spinning on top of the racks right here. Lag or not, he's going to look to take it out, and he will successfully do that. You see Ace is kind of like, hey, stop killing our racks. Well, again, he has that television on it, and he just doesn't care. He'll take it out.
And with meta being down, they can't even try.
Yeah.
Like, what do they do?
LC explodes right there. Again, he still has the Aegis. The fact that he still has that is a crazy part, too. And Storm Spirit, this is a tieback, and that should all but do it.
Yeah, that'll wrap it up.
Alliance looking like they're going to be taking the series 2-1. And moving on to play Vega Squadron. And what would be the winter finals here of Group B. Air Spirit, he got deleted. And there's the official GG, well played. So congrats to them. Still work to be done, but that's got to be a feel-good. I agree with you. There was definitely points where they looked a little bit sloppy, but hey, they get the victory here. And, fine-tune things. You win against Vega, you're moving on to the playoffs at least.
Absolutely.
That's what's at stand. Cloud9, they're going to be dropped down to face Na'Vi in what would be an elimination match now.
What's a Na'Vi?
I don't know. I've never really found out, actually.
Yeah, you missed the fun days of them. But yeah, we still got more Dota coming up. Empire versus NIP.
Are you having coordinator issues now?
I don't even know.
Right,
I was still chilling a post game. Yep.
I'm kind of wondering if that's to do with the lag as well, yeah.
Yeah. So Steam servers hate us.
There you go. All right, but guys, yeah, we got one more series as we've been hyping up here. It's going to be a fun one, no doubt. Empire versus Ninjas in Pajamas to wrap things up. But it's going to be a best of 3, so still plenty more Dota action to come here. But once again, as it stands, Alliance victory over Cloud9 here. Things should line up pretty nicely. Looks like the next lobby set to happen. The default time about 7 to 8 minutes from now. So. Looking forward to getting into that one and seeing how things continue to progress of what is the Summer 7 qualifiers.
We timed that series nicely, Berkey.
Yeah, we did a good job
well
of
done.
that.
Yeah, well done.
Pat on the back to both of us here. Just updating the bracket to give you guys a good visual, actually. As I've been saying how things are looking here. Moving things along. Cloud9 got 1. There we go. On the fly, all this producing while trying to cast and everything. The pressure's on, man.
It's too much.
All right, there we go. So there's the bracket that we're looking at here. Again, the 2-1 for Alliance, so things moving along. This is Group B. Now you look at Group A, the other 4 teams. And like we keep going back to, so yeah, Empire versus NIP. The winner of that will play Pro Dota, and the loser will end up playing Mouse Sports in their elimination match. So things moving along here. Summit 7 qualifiers. Guys, stay tuned. The European region will continue here on Breaking CBK, joined by Xerox once again.